Next, we have a really wonderful proclamation honoring the lifetime achievement of Austin Heyman by Councilmember Albornoz.
Morning, good people. Let the record show I'm wearing my Nationals red today. All right, Mahatma Gandhi once said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service to others. For a remarkably impressive life and professional and civic and advocacy career, Austin Heyman has been serving all of us. We are here to acknowledge a remarkable lifetime of achievement and accomplishment and leadership and humility and love. Austin, it has been one of the honors of my life to have had the opportunity to meet you, sir, to work with you, and to learn from you. The reason we are here today is because AARP, in their infinite wisdom, decided to give Austin an award earlier this year in September in Ocean City, Maryland, for his dedication and volunteerism over that lifetime. For a number of reasons, Austin wasn't able to go to Ocean City personally, so AARP and the county decided to bring the party here to Montgomery County. And so that's why we are here today. What we're going to do is watch a short video, and then we are going to hear from another incredible man in Montgomery County, Chuck Short, who will say some words, as well as Debbie Spielberg representing our county executive, and then the man himself, Austin Heyman, will say a few words himself. I'll read the proclamation, and we're going to take a big group picture because we all love Austin and want to make sure we acknowledge this special day. But let's turn to the video now.
As the 2019 winner of the AARP Maryland Lifetime Achievement Award for his community service, Austin Heyman has dedicated much of his life to creating communities for all ages. He has pioneered the intergenerational movement in Montgomery County.
Hello, I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today.
Austin is probably best known as the moderator of County Cable Montgomery's Seniors Today program. Austin readily took on the role of host and was instrumental in all phases of this award-winning show.
How you see senior issues being addressed.
The driving force and inspiration for Seniors Today has always been Austin Heyman.
Well, that's it for this month's Seniors Today.
More than 3 decades ago, Austin recognized there was a need for better connections between generations.
And the future of Montgomery County is in these kinds of partnerships between young and old.
In 1986, he founded InnerAges, a nonprofit organization which is now part of the Jewish Center for Aging. Today, the InnerAges Center offers a wide array of intergenerational programs that have served more than 45,000 children, teens, and adults. In both 1995 and 2005, Austin was a delegate to the White House Conference on Aging. He proposed the Senior Leadership Montgomery program that has been offered by Leadership Montgomery since 2002.
It truly filled in a lot of gaps in my knowledge. Not only that, but it's whetted my appetite to learn even more about what goes on in this county.
And he was the first chair of the Montgomery County Commission on Children and Youth. Austin Heyman's commitment to enrich our community and bring generations together will always stand as one of Montgomery County's lasting legacies.
Ooh, I'm going to try to hold this together. Austin, if you could please come forward, and Debbie and Chuck, if you could please come forward as well. I'd first like to invite Debbie to say a few words on behalf of the county executive. Debbie Spielberg.
Hello, everyone. First, I'm just going to be very brief. I just wanted to say the county executive was very disappointed that he couldn't be here himself. He's going to stop by later because he wants to be sure to tell you himself how much he appreciates the work that you've done and you do. I just wanted to do a very brief quote from Samuel Ullman that I think captures a lot, that says, "The years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul." And you have never given up. And for that and so much more, we express our deep gratitude and appreciation. So thank you so much.
That was beautiful, Debbie. Very well done. And now another Titan in Montgomery County, Chuck Short.
Thank you, Councilmember Albanaz, and Debbie, thank you very much. I've known Austin for 40 years, and I know first and foremost of his humility. I know the last thing in the world he wants me to do is praise him right now. He came here to thank you, and we need to get to that quickly. But I do think a society or a community makes a big mistake when we have a giant of a role model of morality, of hard work, and civic engagement among us, and we fail to celebrate that individual, and we fail to learn from that individual, So I speak of my friend Austin as a teacher, not only to me, but to I hope through this event and others, to understand, a teacher of what it is to be a citizen, a resident of Montgomery County. Austin has first been a wonderful father and husband, arguably a good father, right, David? I see David Heyman. But he has been committed to our public school system through the Montgomery County Association of Parent Teachers, as a leader of the Montgomery County Association of PTAs while his children were younger. He was the founding chairperson of the Commission on Children and Youth in Montgomery County in his younger days. And he later left his years in federal service at AID to start a nonprofit organization to serve both young people and older people. And he created a wonderful, well-functioning, continuing nonprofit called InterAges. And once he retired from yet that, he took on the role of advocate and visionary for Montgomery County's senior community, which he's been doing and still does, even though he got pretty sick for a while. Didn't take him long to rise up and start calling these wonderful council members behind us and the county executive with new ideas about how we should move forward. So I say these things, my friend Austin, not to embarrass you, not to praise you, but really to urge the people who are watching to learn from your life how much a difference a single person can make in our community. And you have made ours much, much richer. Thank you.
All right. I'll hold the microphone for you, Austin, and we'd be honored if you'd say a few words as well. You can stay seated.
I'm honored by AARP and the county executive and the Montgomery County Council, and I do accept the AARP award knowing that all that I have achieved has been due to many partners, many of you who are here. I've been fortunate to have had the opportunity to be engaged for the past 50 years in this very caring community. It's a great place to live, and there has been considerable joy in what I've been fortunate to do. During the past 30 years, it has been estimated that InterAges programs have benefited 35 to 45,000 children, youth, and older adults. As I've said, there have been many partners. The county PTA, members of the Commission on Children and Youth, and more recently, the Commission on Aging, the Vital Living Committee, and of course, InterAge's staff and past boards of directors. I do want to take this occasion to recognize some specific individuals who have supported my work. Former county executives, Gilchrist, Kramer, Potter, and Duncan, and many past members of the Board of Education and past superintendents of schools. No one has done more to create a community for a lifetime and an age-friendly community than Ike Leggett. As we used to say, Ike gets it. I've served for the past 12 years as a senior fellow, and during this time, the leadership and members of the Commission on Aging have made a major difference. I consider we have made significant progress in creating a community for a lifetime through both intergenerational programs and a major growth in responding to the challenges and opportunities of an aging population. Jay Kenny and the staff of Aging and Disability Services have been strong partners in all that I have done. But there are no adequate words to describe the 40 years I have worked with Chuck Short, beginning as Executive Secretary for the newly established Commission on Children and Youth in 1978, to 40 years later as a past Director of the Department of Health and Human Services and then as Special Assistant to the County Executive. Thanks, partner and friend. Nothing I've been able to achieve would have been possible without the support of my late wife, Barbara, a community leader in her own right. A little secret, she was my editor of anything I wrote. In these difficult times in which we live, I would like to recognize the amazing caregivers, all of whom have come from Africa and who have shared my challenges of the past 10 months.
I was swept up by the love for my dad and delighted that my kids could see their grandfather being recognized for contributions to the people around him. It's an important lesson that he gives to them today.
And finally, it is the love of my sons, David and Stephen, and my family that have made it even possible for me to be here today. I love you all. Thank you for coming.
We love you too, Austin. If everybody who's here to celebrate Austin can come up while I read the proclamation, please come forward. All right, I'm going to read this proclamation, and this is really all of my colleagues and I sharing this. We all love you so, so much, Austin. So, proclamation. Whereas Austin Heyman, always supported by his dear wife Barbara, has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to expanding opportunities for residents of all ages and backgrounds, ensuring all are treated with dignity and respect. And whereas for more than 3 decades has been a tireless advocate working to transform our local school system and local youth services while also focusing on issues affecting older adults. And whereas his steadfast commitment to the Commission on Children and Youth, the Commission on Aging, the Office of Community Partnerships as a senior fellow, and in his service as co-chair of the age-friendly Montgomery Group on civic and social involvement has significantly impacted all segments of our community. And whereas, as host of Seniors Today, a Montgomery County cable television program for and about older adults, he initiated and led noteworthy intergenerational programming, including the Commission on Children and Youth and Interages, which is now JCA Heyman Interages. And whereas he has served as a grand champion for older adults to lead active lives through pivotal programming, including Senior Leadership Montgomery, the Vital Living Network, the 50 Plus Volunteer Network, and the county's innovated Senior Fellow Program. And whereas, in recognition of his selfless dedication to our community, Mr. Heyman was recognized as the 2019 Marilyn Andrus Lifetime Achievement Award for Community Service, an honor bestowed by AARP to those who have shaped our community for the better by their exceptional service to others. Now there be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby honors Mr. Austin Heyman, a visionary and integral leader of our community, and has demonstrated a lifetime of service, creativity, integrity, and purpose. Presented on this 22nd day of October in the year 2019, signed by myself and Council President Nancy Navarro. Let's give him one more round of applause. My colleagues could be stand.
It's great to see my father get this recognition. He has dedicated most of his adult life to public service or community service, and the outpouring of love and affection for him is something that we share, and it was a beautiful thing to be part of.
Congratulations to the council for their involvement in recognizing the achievements of our guest of honor today. So we're here to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Austin Heyman. And AARP Maryland's Lifetime Achievement Awards named for an esteemed and beloved statesman by the name of J. Joseph Curran Jr. You may recognize the name. He was our Attorney General, he was our Lieutenant Governor, he was a senator, and I happened to work for him for about 20 years. And in my world, he was the model of someone who was a great leader, someone who was very humble, still is, by the way. We have lunch every month or so. Very, very humble, but at the same time, the direction I always got from him was, go do the right thing. Don't worry about the politics, don't worry about whatever's going on, just do the right thing. And that is what I try to do to this day, and I use him as my role model. His career in public service was also for 50 years, and I want to mention that when he decided not to run for re-election, the Washington Post's editorial about him, the title of it was Mr. Integrity. And that made me think of Austin Heyman. Today we're delighted to present that honor for only the second time. The first time went to Joe Curran, we named it for him, and that was about 8 years ago. And this is the second time we're offering that award. So it is not something we do on the regular. Even before words like age-friendly and livable communities became part of the common parlance, Austin was working to help older residents remain comfortable and engaged in Montgomery County so that they would want to continue to make it their home as they age. His experience as a parent, as a PTA volunteer, taught him the value of intergenerational engagement to children, to youth, to older adults. In 1986, he founded Interages, which all of you know about, now called the Austin Heyman Interages Center for Jewish Counsel for the Aging of Montgomery County. A very long title, but it is an apt one. An innovative intergenerational program that's brought more than 45,000 children and older adults together to engage in programming that fosters mutual respect, understanding, and camaraderie, such as tutoring and social activities and mentoring. And in 1987, Interages developed the award-winning intergenerational child care project, Grand Care, which for 9 years placed more than 150 older adults in over 35 child care centers. In 1999, Austin launched Montgomery County's Vital Living Initiative, which continues to shape senior services and plans. And he was the first chair of the Montgomery County Commission on Children and Youth. He was the president of the Montgomery County Council of PTAs, a member of the Maryland Task Force on Guidance and Counseling, and he initiated discussions that led to the creation of the Maryland Intergenerational Coalition. In both 95 and 96, he was a delegate to the White House Conference on Aging, as we heard earlier today. He served as a member of the Ike Leggett administration transition team in Montgomery County, and in 2007, the county named him a senior fellow in the Office of Community Partnerships. On TV, he's been a moderator of 2 programs in Montgomery County Cable, Seniors Today and Montgomery County Agenda, Citizens Agenda. Along the way, he has touched thousands of lives and helped to make Montgomery County a place where people of all ages can thrive. Austin, in recognition of your passion, your untiring dedication to the people of Montgomery County, for your innovation, your innumerable achievements, on behalf of AARP and its 875,000 members in Maryland and those who are not members in Maryland, it is my great honor to present you with this Lifetime Achievement Award.
I don't know how to say anything more, except thank you. I mean, my goodness, it's a bit overwhelming this whole day for me. And it's so wonderful to see all of you whom I love deeply. Thank you again for this honor.
Good morning, everybody. This is really such an amazing event, and we owe it all to Austin. So, Austin, congratulations, and thank you for sharing all of you with all of us throughout all of these years. I have known Austin for only 10 years. I know some folks here have known Austin for 40-some years, but I've been blessed in knowing you for 10 years. And you have been a mentor, a teacher. I think you have heard that from many folks, that you are a teacher and a role model for all of us. When we were preparing the award write-up for the AARP, I was privileged to be asked to write a few things about my experience with Austin. And one of the things I said was, when Austin talks, people listen. Remember, there was that commercial from somebody out there? But most importantly, when Austin talks, people act. People do things as a result of his encouragement, his passions. And so thank you for sharing all of that with all of us over this year, Austin. We love you.
Austin, and I want to add a few remarks to what I said earlier, and again along the lines of not here to praise you, but to learn from you. So I'm just, since this is a more intimate gathering, I'm going to talk just for a few minutes about some things that I hope we learn from Austin. I mentioned earlier, very specific things about what he has done and his accomplishments. The first, and these are some things you may not know, the first is we're in an era where we're very concerned about the achievement gap in schools and how we need to work together. Do you know that Austin Heyman was the force behind the first partnership between the county government and the school system and a nonprofit agency to meet a need? The first. It was when InterAges created when InterAges was created. Before that, InterAges was actually a rare program to be funded both by the school system and by the county government. We didn't do that before. We always did one or another. But Austin saw the need to bring those together and to raise money through InterAges itself. So I say that again, not to praise you, Austin, but to encourage us all to do that kind of visionary collaboration if we're going to make a difference in the achievement gap. It's only when we work together the way Austin started us to. Secondly, the Grand Care program. You mentioned it, Hank, thank you. But we are at this moment, struggling, and I know the county executive is doing a great job on this, but we got to do a lot more to get adequate child care in Montgomery County. The Grand Care program. Austin saw the potential of a different generation, an older generation, whether it be old or young, old, whatever it is, helping in child care. Let's learn from what Austin taught us in the Grand Care program. The Bridges program, we are faced with a huge challenge of immigrants in our county in every way. Adults needing English as a second language, kids needing mentors and tutors. Austin gave us the Bridges program. He recognized that, again, seniors are a great resource to help address the needs of that immigrant population. Let's learn from Austin on that and keep doing more of that kind of thing. He created, he didn't create, but he is the model of the Senior Fellow Program. How many thousands of talented retirees exist in this county? I look around this room, many of you were right here. We don't use you enough in county government in particular. We don't use you enough. You're brilliant, you're hardworking. Austin is an example of that. He knew that, and he'd like us to see more senior fellows in Montgomery County. Vital Living. For up until Austin began to get really involved in senior things, we tended to see our senior population as people who were a burden to, a hardship on our community, not an asset to. Austin changed all that, working with a number of others of you in the Vital Living area. Let's do much more of that. Let's honor the fact that we can use seniors as volunteers and hire them to do work. Austin didn't do all this for cheap. I mean, for free. He did it for cheap, but he didn't do it for free. Seniors can work. And the final thing I want to say that touched me, Austin, this is really touched me, brought a tear to my eye, and that is when you acknowledged your caregivers and the fact that they were immigrants to this country. That was typically noble of you. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
I have been waiting decades to say this. JCA, the Jewish Council for the Aging, has scooped the mighty AARP. In 2015, we honored Austin Heyman for his leadership in aging, in human services, for his vision, wisdom, and perseverance. That was 4 years ago, Hank, but who's counting? In all fairness, in all honesty, this guy kept improving since then. He has become even wiser and even a better advocate. Thank you, Austin. Let me talk about those 3 words, vision, wisdom, and perseverance. I don't have to look any further than down the hall from my office to see the vision, the JCA Heyman Interages Center. And because it bears your name, it is a constant reminder that we have to give tender, loving care to your baby each and every day. What is exciting now in this generation-to-generation aspect of the Heyman Interages Center is that some of those we served decades ago have now come back as adults and as supporters of the program. Wisdom. It's one thing to be smart. It's another thing to be wise. Austin's wisdom goes to the heart of programs because, let's face it, programs don't happen overnight. Sometimes they don't happen over years. But this man knows how to make them happen, and often it's in the form of a question. I cannot tell you the number of times, either on camera or after camera, where he has said to me, "Have you ever thought about?" "No, I hadn't." "Might we get together over lunch and talk about?" "Sure." For those of you not familiar with Austin's particular brand of wisdom and perseverance, you will get more lunches from him if you don't quite get it the first couple times around. Today, wisdom, perseverance, honesty, trustworthiness are rarer than ever. So we need his counsel, We need him with us. And I thank you, Austin, for giving us the legacy of Montgomery County Health and Human Services, working with JCA, working with MCPS, working with not just dozens, but hundreds of talented volunteers. So on behalf of JCA, Mazel Tov, and thank you.
Hank said, my name is Donna Phillips Mason, and I'm representing Montgomery County's Vital Living Network, which was started by Austin over almost 30 years ago as the Vital Living Committee. I heard you say that. Austin had the foresight and vision to recognize that older adults represented a valuable asset to the county. So he saw this group and he said, wow, look at all this talent. Beginning with the founding of Interages and continuing with the other initiatives he championed, including the Vital Living Network, which is composed of volunteers and others committed to supporting programs and services that focus on helping seniors remain involved and engaged. Austin's leadership has enriched the lives, and he said it today, of 35,000 people in Montgomery County. 35,000. What an awesome number. His vision planted the seeds for an ideology that recognized that retirement was the beginning of a new phase of life, enabling individuals to contribute their wisdom and talent. For his efforts, for his unselfish dedication to the county, and for the many seeds he planted, many. We thank Austin and give him this small token of appreciation, Mara, for his tireless work in making this county a community for a lifetime.
Thank you very much, Hal. Was that inimitable, indubitable, or well, was it infamous anyway? So I'll take it. No, thank you so very, very much. How could I miss today? I would move whatever needed to be moved to be here to honor my wonderful friend, as many have said, mentor, teacher. I have had the distinct privilege of working with Austin for about 25 years, give or take. Many wonderful lunches, as David referred to. Was it Mama Sagan until they went out of business, and we outlasted that restaurant. Then Peter Chang and El Pizzico or whatever diner or whatever little sub shop we could make time in our schedules. And I value those and remember all of them and treasure those moments. Vital Living Network has been mentioned. That's just one memory among many. Chuck Short had to depart, but I do remember about 20 plus years ago when Chuck was the director of the Department of Health and Human Services, and Austin asked to meet with Chuck and me. And I still remember sitting in the conference room on the 5th floor, and Austin said, we know that this department, that our executive and council will always look out for seniors who need assistance, seniors who have minimal resources, who may need social services and health services and maybe can't afford them. And so we know that is going to be a given. We're going to keep our eyes on the prize. The commission advocates there. He said, but what about the roughly 80% of seniors who report no disability, no need for public assistance or publicly funded health and social services? What about us 80% who have so much to contribute, so much to give back? So much to do to make this county a better place. And that was where what was originally called, actually, the Vital Aging Committee was formed. And after a year or so, people on the committee said, we don't like that word aging in there. It became the Vital Living Committee and then the Vital Living Network. So words matter, we all knew that. But that was just one memory of what has snowballed into what we have today. Continues to be a vitally active older population. So Austin, I thank you for so many, not memories, for so many programs and services that continue to this day to be thriving, a thriving Montgomery County for young and older adults. And I can't believe with David Gamsey going before me, that of all the things that have been said about you, that they leave it to this Irish Catholic guy to call you a true mensch. You know, wow. Well, I guess since I'm with the Jewish Social Service Agency, I can do that without being accused of cultural appropriation or anything like that, you know. So, you are a true mensch, a person of integrity and honor, someone to be emulated and admired, a person of noble character. And those aren't superfluous terms, those are just accurate descriptions. It's been my privilege to work with you and call you my friend. Thank you.
I keep hoping that the county executive will show up, and he's on his way, and he really wanted to see you, and hopefully he'll still walk in the door. But he did have a proclamation. I can read it to you. I read part of the quote this morning, but I wanted to read the whole thing. I read it to someone, they said, oh, that's too long for the morning. And I thought, no, it's not, because it really captures. And the whole quote is, nobody grows old merely by living a number of years. We grow old by deserting our ideals. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm wrinkles the soul. So in those terms, you're actually quite young. So anyway, again, thank you. I have the proclamation from the county executive. I will read it. Whereas Austin Heyman has spent his entire professional life working for, creating organizations for, advocating the care, dignity, and development of others. His intelligence, his passion, and his leadership have touched the lives of Montgomery County residents of all ages. And whereas for 25 years he worked for the federal government, both in the United States and in Europe, as an administrator of foreign assistance programs promoting self-reliance and resilience to peoples of diverse nationalities and cultures. And whereas when he retired from the federal government and for over 5 decades, Austin and his wife Barbara lived in Montgomery County and contributed to organizations and programs that sought to educate, empower, and advocate for residents throughout the county and for a variety of needs and causes. And whereas for his concern for youth and education led to his being the first chair of the Montgomery County Commission on Children and Youth, the president of the Montgomery County Council of PTAs, a member of the Marilyn Task Force on Guidance and Counseling, and initiating the discussions that led to the creation of the Maryland Intergenerational Coalition. And whereas his insight of introducing young students and older adults to meaningful encounters and exchanges led to his establishing a nonprofit organization called InterAges, offering a wide array of intergenerational programs, an organization that changed its name to the JCA Heyman InterAges Center in his honor. And whereas his awareness of the need for Montgomery County to support significant opportunities and services for older adults in order to experience active and fulfilling lives led to his being twice designated as a delegate to the White House Conference on Aging, his initiating Montgomery County's Vital Living Initiative, his proposal to establish a senior leadership component to Leadership Montgomery County, his serving as chair of the Montgomery County Commission on Aging, his hosting the television program Seniors Today, and finally for serving as a senior fellow to the county. And now therefore do Mark Elrich, as county executive, hereby recognize Austin Heyman for his exceptional leadership and as a community icon, visionary, and inspiration to residents of all ages. Thank you.